Welcome to Kindness Stories, where every story we share is a reminder that a single act of courage, compassion, or kindness can change a life forever. Here, we believe in the power of everyday people to stand up for what is right, to defend those who are vulnerable, and to bring hope to dark moments. So sit back, listen closely, and let today's story inspire you to see the goodness that still exists in this world, and the strength that can rise from even the harshest of trials. It all started on an unusually rainy Tuesday afternoon in a small suburban town. A girl named Emma walked quietly down the long hallway of her high school, her books clutched tightly to her chest as if they were a shield. She had always been shy, the type of person who preferred the back row in class, the far corner of the cafeteria, and the empty table in the library. To Emma, the world felt safer when no one noticed her, but unfortunately, being invisible is not always enough when there are people determined to break you. Emma's school had its fair share of typical high school drama, cliques, rumors, and the kind of bullying that could drain the joy out of the most hopeful soul. She had managed to stay under the radar for most of her freshman and sophomore years, but everything changed when she caught the attention of a group of students who thrived on mocking anyone they saw as different. The ringleader was a boy named Brandon, a star athlete, handsome in a way that made him untouchable, and arrogant in a way that made him cruel. Brandon was popular. He walked the halls like he owned them, his entourage always laughing at his every joke. And he noticed Emma not because she had done anything to him, but because she existed in a way that made her an easy target. She didn't wear the trendiest clothes. She didn't have the newest phone. She didn't speak up when someone was unfair. To him, she was the perfect victim, so he began with whispers. He and his friends would laugh when she passed by. They would imitate her soft voice in the cafeteria, making her cheeks burn with shame. But Emma told herself it would pass. She told herself they would lose interest if she just stayed quiet. She was wrong. One day, after English class, Brandon's group cornered her near her locker. Emma felt her heart hammering in her chest, but she kept her eyes down. She thought maybe if she pretended not to hear their jeers, they would get bored. But that day, they didn't just mock her voice or her clothes. Brandon leaned in close, his breath hot and sour, and told her that she would always be nothing, that no one would ever care about her. And then, as if to make his point, he snatched the book she was holding and flung it down the hallway. Pages scattered like wounded birds. Emma could hear laughter echoing as she dropped to her knees to gather them. No teacher came to help. No student dared to intervene. When she got home that night, Emma locked herself in her room and cried. She didn't tell her parents because they were both working the jobs just to keep the lights on, and she didn't want to burden them with her problems. She didn't tell her older brother because he had already moved to another city for college. So she carried the weight alone, each cruel word like a stone in her backpack, each shove and sneer, another layer of bruises no one could see. As the weeks passed, the bullying escalated. Brandon's friends started calling her names in front of entire classrooms. One girl, a cheerleader named Madison, filmed Emma tripping over her untied shoelaces and posted it online. Within hours, the video had hundreds of cruel comments. Emma felt like she couldn't breathe. She would sit in her bedroom, staring at the glow of her laptop, reading each hateful word over and over until she convinced herself they must be true. She started to believe that maybe she really was worthless. But even in her darkest moments, there was one thing that kept her going. Her love of martial arts. It was a secret she had kept from everyone at school. Every Saturday, she would wake up early and walk 3 miles to a tiny dojo on the edge of town. There, under the guidance of Sensei Hiro, she learned the discipline, strength, and focus that karate required. She loved how the movements made her feel powerful, grounded, and in control. In the dojo, she wasn't the shy girl who got pushed around. She was someone strong, someone who could defend herself, someone who could stand tall. Sensei Hiro often told her, strength is not about hurting others. It is about knowing you can protect yourself and those you love. His words echoed in her mind as she bowed before every class. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want to hurt anyone. But deep down, she knew that she had to find the courage to stand up for herself one day. The final blow came during the week of the spring dance. Emma had no intention of going. She had no dress, no date, and no desire to be anywhere near the people who made her life miserable. But in a cruel twist, Brandon and his friends decided to play a prank. He approached her at her locker with an audience watching and asked her to the dance. His voice was sweet, his smile charming. For a split second, Emma thought maybe, just maybe, he was sincere. Maybe he saw her for who she really was. Maybe he was sorry. But the moment she said yes, the hallway erupted in laughter. Brandon turned to his friends, gave her a mocking bow, and said, "As if I'd ever go anywhere with you. You really thought someone like me would want to be seen with someone like you." The sting of betrayal was sharper than any insult. She felt her face flush red as tears welled in her eyes. But she refused to let them see her cry. She gathered her books and walked away, head down, each step feeling heavier than the last. That night, Emma sat on her bed staring at her karate uniform. She thought of Sensei Hiro's words, the movement she had practiced thousands of times, the strength she knew she had buried inside her. She decided that she would not be their victim anymore. She didn't know exactly what she would do, but she knew one thing. She would never let them break her spirit again.